Welcome to Tapestry of Faith. This show highlights how people from different cultures and traditions are all united in their common Catholic faith.
And today we're going to visit the Indonesian Apostolate, who hold their monthly Mass at the Resurrection Ascension Church in Woodhaven, Queens.
Later on in the show, we're going to check out the Irish Apostolate.
Right now, let's start with taking a look at the Indonesian Apostolate.
Indonesia consists of 17,508 islands, 6,000 of which are inhabited by some 235 million people. There are about 300 different ethnic groups which have flourished over the centuries. The architecture here has been greatly inspired by India. However, significant contributions have been made by the Chinese, Arabs, and Europeans. Throughout the different islands, daily meals will vary by locality and regional style. Since Indonesian law guarantees freedom of worship, nearly 8 million Catholics practice their faith in the world's largest Muslim nation.
Now that we've learned a little bit about Indonesia, let's find out more about the history of the Indonesian Apostolate here in New York.
I knew this community before. When I was doing my first study in my Jesuit education, and during those 3 years from 1998 until 2001, I used to work with the young adults here with the Indonesian community, with the Indonesian Apostolate.
I've been a member since I was like 4 years old, so pretty much when I was a little kid, and now I'm 16.
And over here in this apostolate is very important because it's our faith, and then we actively involved in the Indonesian Apostolate in any way we can, you know.
Yeah, so far I met this New York community. Sometimes they invite me to come to celebrate Mass for them.
A lot of Indonesians live in this area in Elmhurst, Rego Park, basically all the surrounding areas in Queens. Yeah.
My dad gets so much out of being part of the church, and it's really like fun to meet new people and enlighten their lives by bringing Jesus into their life.
I saw many other children that they're born in America and like detached from the Indonesian Apostolate.
I was just ordained in June 2007, so I've been asked to be the coordinator for the Indonesian Apostolate.
I love America, but I also love my country, and I taught my daughters how to speak Indonesian.
I speak Indonesian very badly, but it's okay because I understand, and these Indonesian people, they speak American as well, English, but also we have like these cultural dances that we do sometimes, so that helps me feel more Indonesian.
We are also very active in our culture besides our religion, obviously. We maintain our culture, we actively involved to introduce Indonesian culture in America.
When we have the Asian for Mary events, and we have a group of Indonesians in traditional costumes, and then people ask, where are they from? They're Indonesians. Where are they from? They're from Indonesia. But they're all different, right? It's hard to just reduce Indonesian into just one typical culture.
We have 27 provinces with 27 different cultures, 20 different. We have many languages actually over there, but we have only one language, is Indonesian.
We have other events like pray together, and the different days, like on Saturday we have first Saturday we have Maria prayers and other activity that's holding us together as a community.
So when we meet somebody else which is the same, and also the same faith, they feel like a family.
It's a lot different from church in America because I go to the church around my block, and we're all neighbors, but yet we don't really speak to each other or like say hi or, you know. But when I come to church here, even though it's once a month, we're always like family and we always catch up with each other. So it's kind of like fun.
That's the phenomena that tells the longing of being together, celebrating liturgy in their own language.
We're going to pause for a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to meet more of the members because after their Mass, the Apostolate comes together like one big family, sharing some of their home-cooked traditional foods. Stay with us. Welcome back to Tapestry of Faith. Before our commercial break, we learned about the Indonesian culture and met some members of the apostolate here at the Resurrection Ascension Church in Queens. Now, we're going to take a closer look at how they celebrate their Mass and discover what happens afterwards.
Let's say maybe like 50% to 60% of Indonesians who attend the Mass over here, they don't speak English well. It is very difficult for them to go to the regular Mass.
This is very important. In Indonesian language Mass like this, very important for me. Sometimes if I really need it, because we have Mass only once a month, because I really need it, understand what they're talking.
Having a Mass in Indonesian is to have the connections with the roots, with the Indonesian root itself.
In Indonesia, we emphasize on the dialogue between the priest and the congregation. So we made Mass more communicative. Therefore, like in today's Mass, we make conversation in the prayer, opening prayer, for example.
During my theology study, I learned to celebrate Mass through the implementation of the general instruction of the Roman Missals. And so like the Mass today is more of the Indonesian style Mass, where there is more participation from the people.
We sing a lot and everybody sings along together. And whenever we're doing like Our Father or we're doing Peace, we always hold hands with everyone.
I think the most important thing is that language touch the heart. When it is mother tongue, it is easy to feel what we say, what we sing.
It's important, to hold us together, to maintain our faith, as a Catholic.
So Mass is over and I'm here with the Indonesian Apostolate. There's a lot of excitement going on here. People are talking, socializing, but most importantly, we're all waiting to eat. And as you can see, there's a long line here. Lots of food. I hear it's very spicy and very delicious. I've got my plate, I've got my spoon, I'm ready to go.
For example, at Christmas or Easter, we had gathering and celebration. We dance, we eat food, and mostly will be the Indonesian food. And those things will be the one that make us happy to relieve the kind of longing of the Asian food.
Culturally, it does make people feel at home. And in Indonesia, in Indonesian culture, food is important.
Everybody brings some food and they cook, they're proud of their cook, and there is an event, sometimes the father cook, the mother cook, the kids cook, so bring us together as a community.
So that's one way to actually attract the number of people, and a lot of them are generous in bringing potlucks.
To get together, we pray, and then we eat. Basically, food is an instrument to unite this Indonesian community.
My hope is that each person can be rooted in both cultures, being part of the Indonesian community, continue to maintain the connection to the roots, but then also at the same time being rooted in the local parishes, trying to contribute to the local church here.
Indonesian Apostolates is very important because this is like a family. In a family we have each other. Yeah, we understand each other. Like
I feel really joyful because I got to know the people. I went through with their journey for 3 years as a scholastic in formation, and then return home as a priest, and to offer Mass for them is really a privilege and an honor for me.
The Indonesian Apostolate is a small, tight-knit group reflecting on their cultural traditions and character. And with their warm and welcoming attitudes, this apostolate will definitely keep growing and growing.